black waters of the Niagara. Water, millions of gallons of it, rushing relentlessly towards the sea. For centuries, this spectacular chasm was celebrated across the globe as the unofficial seventh wonder of the world, a breathtaking natural monument to Earth's raw, untouched majesty, drawing millions to its banks just to witness its power. The immense kinetic power of the seventh wonder of the world birthed an industrial empire. A dense corridor of manufacturing plants sprang up along the Niagara River, earning a notorious nickname, Chemical Row. Corporate giants turned the region into the epicenter of American chemical manufacturing, producing the plastics, pesticides, and wartime materials that built the modern world. To the locals, the thick, acid smog hanging over the city wasn't a warning sign. They called it the smell of money. It meant jobs, it meant progress, it meant security. But beneath the promise of the American dream, a toxic debt was quietly accumulating. Before environmental regulations, disposal was simple: bury it or drown in it. Every single day, industries discharged nearly 1 billion liters of toxic waste directly into the Niagara ecosystem. In 1953, the Hooker Chemical Company covered their overflowing 21,000-ton toxic canal trench with dirt and sold it to the school board for a single dollar. Officials and corporate representatives reassured the public. They paved over the dump. They built a school directly on top of it. They lined the perimeter with affordable homes. Working class families put their life savings into these properties, explicitly told by authorities that the land was perfectly safe. They trusted the leaders, the developers, and the factories that employed them. They believed they were building a safe, prosperous future for their children on the doorstep of the world's greatest wonder. But the reassurances were a lie. By the late 1970s, heavy rains caused the buried trench to overflow, breaching the thin clay cover. The nightmare returned to the surface. It bubbled into backyard gardens. It corroded basement floors, filling family homes with suffocating, toxic fumes. Soon, the human toll became impossible to deny. High rates of miscarriage, severe illness, alarmingly frequent, devastating birth defects. The tragic reality set in. An entire community had to suffer, fight, and beg for evacuation because they believed the people who told them it was safe to live there. In 1980, Lois Gibbs, who was an environmental activist that led the Love Canal homeowners movement. Let me give you this analysis of Lois Gibbs. Lois Gibbs did not just protest. She weaponized the mundane by reframing a complex chemical disaster into a simple fight for the survival of her children. She bypassed corporate jargon and spoke directly to the American conscience. When she led mothers pushing strollers to the gates of chemical plants, she stripped authorities of their abilities to look away. Her strategy proved that local data collection, paired with unyielding moral clarity, could force the hand of the highest offices in Washington, D.C. Lois Gibbs was not a scientist. She was not a politician. She was a mother whose son was suddenly plagued with asthma, epilepsy, and a failing immune system. When the state confessed that her children's elementary school sat directly atop a buried hooker chemical dump site? They told her to stay calm. They told her there was minimal risk. By May 1980, patience had run dry. After years of federal foot dragging, Gibbs orchestrated a master class in high-stakes political theater. She and her neighbors locked down 2 federal EPA officials inside her office. Lois Gibbs stated, "If holding 2 EPA officials in an office for a few hours is what it takes to save our kids from being poisoned, we'll do it again tomorrow. We want out, and we want out now. Our lives are not open for negotiations." Love Canal remains a permanent scar just miles away from the world's 7th wonder. A stark, sobering monument to corporate greed and institutional betrayal. It stands as a timeless warning that the true cost of unregulated progress is never paid by the industries that profit, but by the innocent families who trust them, paying with their very health. The inventory of what they left behind reads like a textbook of horrors. VOCs, or volatile organic compounds, highly corrosive acids, carcinogenic solvents, and deadly dioxins that sank deep into the river sediment, poisoning the environments from the depths upward. What did this actually mean for those families? Would they get justification? Would they get their medical bills paid for? Would they get appropriate housing to replace their lifetime investments? Would they get help with their long-term needs and the long-term needs of the community? We will see in the next part. Our next episode will be the toxic tragedy and what it's doing to families today. Please join us.